Hi everybody, Jake Reichbart here. I got some great news for you today. All my DVD lessons, and there are 65 of them at this time, and that number is growing, all these lessons are now available as downloads as well. To celebrate this new development, I have included in this video a sample from one of my recent lessons. I'll talk about that in a second. But first, the downloads advantages are clear. There's no shipping costs. There's no custom forms if you're in a foreign country. And best of all, you'll get the lessons near instantly. All communication is done by email. I do not have an online store. I enjoy replying to emails. Often you have very specific questions, so everybody has different questions. I'm happy to answer those. And when I send you an email, it will include all the information about payment, options. I have discount options, 20% off 3 DVDs or more, or 3 lessons or more. 30% off 10 lessons or more. So I have lots of information that I will be emailing you. Once you have made payment, which will be detailed in the email as well, it's mostly by PayPal. There are some other options as well. I will either mail the DVDs to the address that you have indicated, or in case of a download, I will send you an email with the links and all the instructions. It looks something like this. The instructions are quite clear. You do not have to have a Dropbox account. Once you click on a link, it would look like this. And you will see at the upper right corner a download button. You click on that, you download the lesson, and you're done. That's it. It takes minutes if you have a fast connection. In terms of file size, none of my lessons, even though they're quite long, are more than 1 gigabyte in size. So if you have a flash drive, a small $10 16 gigabyte flash drive, that can hold 16 lessons. So storage is no issue in this day and age. And that's it. That's quite a big thing for me. I've been a late adopter in that sense. I know people have been doing it for a long time. I'm finally on board with downloads. Okay, so here is something about the lesson, or the lesson sample that I have here in this video. What you'll notice about my style is it's very conversational, and the advantage is that I talk about many things that go way beyond the arrangement itself. What you will see in this 15-minute segment that is to follow is that I barely cover the introduction to the song. And the song in question here is Baby, I Love Your Way. You can watch the arrangement right here if you click on this link. And normally, if you just show the fingerings, that should take a minute or two. The reason it takes 15 minutes is because I go into many additional side topics. You'll see me discuss voicings that have blended fingerings up the neck with open strings. You'll hear me talk about diatonic progressions. This entire section is in the key of G, so I'll talk about the importance of learning how to play in one key. There's some improvisation, some filling, and many other things that will help you in other songs. So what I try to do is teach solo guitar playing, and the vehicle through which I do it is by playing or demonstrating one song, but really you will learn much more about all of solo guitar playing. So enjoy this lesson sample. It's, like I said, quite lengthy. Enjoy it. All communication is done, again, by email, and I'll be back next week with more great arrangements. Thanks. My introduction to the song, and in fact, by general performance of the song, is meant to mirror the original Peter Frampton performance. It sounds, of course, different, as I mentioned, about the idea about interpreting for a single instrument, an entire band arrangement, let alone a vocal performance arranged for solo guitar. But nevertheless, I feel that this mirrors the introduction pretty well. And the very first fingering is quite a unique one in that it's way up there on the neck in the 10th position, and I'm playing using all 4 fingers to finger individual notes. 2 of them are on the same fret, and somewhere in there, on the 3rd string, I have an open string as well. So from the bottom, I have a G on the 5th string, 10th fret, a D on the 4th string, 12th fret, an open G, a B on the 2nd string, 12th fret, and also the D on the top string, 12th fret. So So the idea behind this fingering that it's has the sound of a high note, so it's up the neck, and yet it has an open string, which is an attractive sound to me, I guess. I like that sound of blended fingered notes up on the neck with open strings. So again, from the bottom, G, D, another G, open on the G string, B and D on top. This chord to me is a D with the 3 in the bass, the 3 being the F sharp. And the way I play it is by using my first finger, I bend it kind of like this a little bit. Let's see if I can angle it so you can see. And I get more than one note on the same fret, but I leave it open so that underneath the finger I can still pluck the open E string. So the notes from the bottom would be the F sharp on the 5th string, 9th fret, D on the 4th string, 12th fret, an E on the 3rd string, 9th fret, so that first finger is getting 2 notes, the F sharp and the E. Then my second finger is playing the A note on the 2nd string, 10th fret, and then I have an open E on top. So again, I have a doubled note here. I got 2 E notes. Here I got 2 G notes, and here I have 2 E notes. It kind of makes the harmony sound more acoustic, strummy-like, I guess, in my crazy mind. The next chord is an E minor, a very standard kind of fingering in the 7th position, except that I do with my first finger the same thing I just did the previous chord, which is say I don't play a full bar. I again let the open E string ring on top, and I bend my first finger to get this E on the 5th string as well as the D on the 3rd string. So the notes would be E on the 5th string, B on the 4th string, D on the 3rd string, and G on the 2nd string, and E on top, and now I can also throw in the bottom E to thicken the sound. The next 2 chords are identical fingerings on different frets. And these are triads in kind of an open voicing style. The first of these 2 is the D chord. So I play a D with my first finger, 5th fret, 5th string, along with the A on the 4th string, 7th fret, and an F sharp on the 2nd string, 7th fret. Except, and I play then the same shape, move down to the 3rd position now, so the notes are C, G, and E. Except that even while I'm playing this chord, and certainly this chord, I can still incorporate lightly the open strings, which are the G and E. Certainly in this position, now we're duplicating 2 notes. Here's a G on the 4th string, G on the 3rd string, E on the 2nd string, E on the 1st string. Not quite a 12-string guitar sound, but especially if you pluck them here and you let them ring over to the next chord, and then you strum them again. So it makes quite an attractive sound. Why don't I sum up everything from the top? And what you saw me do here is micro improvisation, I guess, which is just kind of, in this case, I kind of plucked the notes first and then added those strings. And there's a lot of little, if you know where the notes are, lot of micro improvisation that you can do if you feel like it and if there's enough time for it. Next chord in the progression is a G add 9 with B in the bass. And this is in the second position, or almost really in the open position. I play the B with my first finger, 5th string, 2nd fret, A with my second finger, 3rd string, 2nd fret, then D and G on top. It's a G chord, because the G triad is in there. And then you have the added 9th, which is the A. And it's just unusual that, well, it's not so unusual, but it's not the root in the bass again, it's the 3, which is the B of G, which is the 3 of the G chord. Otherwise you'd play it like this. But I play it like this way to make for a descending bass line. So A and D, and then the song starts. So let's continue with the progression. And once again, I will sum up the entire introduction all the way up to the melody in just a moment. Just want to show you the chords as we go. So we had a G add 9 with B in the bass. And now we have an A minor to D7, which is the 2-5, to the 1 G, which is going to be the 1 or the tonal center of the song and the beginning of the verse. But along the way I play a little movement to kind of make it move more. It's all about rhythm, really. It's not about some intricate chord voicings. It's really about making the song move rhythmically. So what I do here is I play the bottom A string. I also have the open G string and open E string. And then I have parallel intervals moving inside the key of G, starting with the E and the C. This by itself, A, E, G, C, and E, is a classic open position A minor 7 chord, which I'm sure we all know how to play. What I do now is move the fingered notes up diatonically up the scale, and that's why I was referring to the introduction, where it would be very useful to know the notes in the key. 1, 2. All of these are still while it's an A minor chord rhythmically, and while you're making those movements, it is okay for the other strings to ring open. You don't have to hit them all the time. Again, it's kind of, adding too much spice to a food or something like that. You don't want to overdo things, but they're not avoid notes. You can incorporate them. I do this in a rhythmic manner. When I get here, which I'll get to in a second, that's to me already the D chord, the D7 chord. But anyway, what are those notes? So I said I was moving these parallel up the neck. So E, C, F sharp, D. These are on strings 4 and 2. G, E, A, and F sharp. All the while, you can also hit the A, like I said, and the G and E are also fine. The next interval up is yet another diatonic step up the scale, so you'll play B and G on the same 2 strings, 4 and 2, except that rhythmically the chord has changed to a D. I don't have to hit a D at that point, although I could. Because if you keep playing the A, all that will happen is musically it's a D with the A in the bass. And since I'm about to immediately change my fingering, I just continue the movement up to this point. So So hitting the D is a little bit delayed rhythmically, but so what? So what is that movement? I hit the A on the first string, hammer to B, and play this voicing, which is very easy to play. It's just a bar across the upper 5 strings in the 5th position. It just happens to be the appropriate chord here, which to me is a D11. It's a kind of a D7th chord, but with a suspended sound. So it's not just a regular D7, but a D7 with a certain attitude, a certain sound to it. And again, the notes are D, G, C, E, and A. Another way to view it is C, a C triad, over D, and I also have the A on top. Now, during the time that I'm playing this chord, again, I have a little time before the melody comes in, so I elaborate, I embellish a little bit, not for melodic or harmonic reasons. Those are just the tools to serve the rhythm. That's all it is about to me, is just moving the song rhythmically. So after I hit this, I can play a variety of little miniature or micro improvisation, which you'd really call, the technical term I think would be a fill. I'm exaggerating the effect on purpose so you can see all the different little things that you could do during this time. And again, it all stems from the knowledge of the key of G. If you know where the notes are in the key of G, and if you are holding this position down, you can, and there's more ways to do it than just a bar. I can play behind the bar. I can play. I can play in this area too, but in this case I just held the bar down. So one of the easiest things to do is to play that bar, and then with the 3 remaining fingers, improvise little melodies or intervals. And then, right when the time is right on the downbeat, hit that G chord. So I'll demonstrate from the top. I'll play the entire introduction up to this point very slowly. Up. I screwed up that walk up. I'll do the whole thing again for your benefit. And there's not that there was that much time to add that many improvised notes, but it will come up later in the song, so that's why I made that elaborate demonstration right there. So one more time and then we'll move on.